Internet, Rob, minor error. Here, today we're going to take a look at a flash drive. This is from the company MoveSpeed. I don't exactly know why I keep getting offers from these different tech companies to review tech products. I'm not a tech YouTube channel, but I was in the need of a new flash drive, which we're going to get into because I've been having a whole host of computer issues ever since I switched over to a new Mac with Apple Silicon. And when the offer for a new flash drive came in, I figured, sure, I definitely needed it. So here we are. We're going to take a look at this flash drive. First, before we get into it, yes, they did send me this flash drive for free, so we'll get that whole thing out of the way. No, I'm not going to let that bias my opinion in it. I will tell you my actual feelings about it. So let's get going. The particular model I have is the 256 gig flash drive, although it does come in a 128, 512, and 1 terabyte configuration. And this flash drive is dual Type A and Type C, so if you're a little bit like me, still living in the dark ages, hanging on to USB-A, and your computer does have a USB-A port, or you have some dongles with USB-A ports on it, this is a flash drive that can do both. Prices start at $50 for the 128 gig, $60 for the 256, $90 for your 512, and $170 for the full 1 terabyte flash drive. And rounding out the specs, this Type A and Type C flash drive, the read and write speeds is 1,000 megabytes a second. So yes, it is fast. So let's get into the things that I like about it. It is extremely well made, actually a little bit maybe too well made because it is really heavy, which will show up in the cons, but it is really well made. The front and back plates, like I said, are metal, the sides are plastic, and the way that the slider moves has a little notch in the middle, and then when you push it out, it clicks in place for either your C or your A ports, and the function is really smooth and really nice. To explain why I was in the market and interested in a free flash drive at all, part of my transition to Apple Silicon was to get a USB-C and USB-A flash drive from SanDisk. Being that I have not paid too much attention to computers for the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, it kind of felt like things were just sort of staying the same. And I didn't realize what was really going on, especially on the Apple side of things. I am a Mac user, was that basically Apple had been slowly and quietly basically plugging away on the processors in the phones with the end goal of basically putting those processors in the computers. And I was unaware of the architecture difference basically between an Intel, which uses x86, and then your phone, which uses what's called ARM. And apparently this ARM architecture is far more efficient. It's a simpler set of instructions for the CPU, and that leads to much greater efficiency, both in thermals, but then also in potential battery life for powering these CPUs. So with the launch really in 2020 of the Apple M1, that has really completely revolutionized computing, especially on the Mac side, and now Windows is responding and they've got all their ARM-based computers on the way and all that kind of good stuff. So switching to Apple Silicon, the performance boost of my MacBook Pro compared to what I used to have with the old school huge cheese grater tower, I mean, it's insane how fast the laptops are. But of course, Apple, since they want to get rid of all ports at all costs at any time, there's no USB-A, so I figured, okay, I'll buy a USB-C flash drive. Again, being a little bit computer illiterate, I saw ultra high speed, blah, blah, blah. Didn't know to really look at the fine print, and it's only 150 megabytes read and write for this SanDisk flash drive, and it is horrifically slow. Even just flipping through, what I basically use my flash drive for is while I'm teaching my lessons, if students come in, they want to learn a new song, I'll quick download the PDF and I put it on the flash drive. That way, when I go back and forth, I've got it mobile and all that kind of good stuff. Trying to move through just PDF files on the SanDisk is horrifically slow, which is very confusing because they're just kilobyte-sized files. They're not big files. It's not like I'm dealing with 4K footage or something. So I've been it was just like this nagging sort of thing that was causing problems. So when MoveSpeed was like, hey, you want to check out this flash drive? I was like, hell yeah, let's give this a try. And the read and write speeds are recklessly fast. I mean, it is really, really fast. So there should be a test that I'm showing, dragging and dropping some files onto the MoveSpeed versus dragging them onto the SanDisk. And you know, obviously you can see just how much faster the MoveSpeed works. It is, you know, it's advertised as 1,000 megabytes read and write, and I believe it by how unbelievably fast it is moving footage or moving files just in general on and off the flash drive. It's been outstanding. So can't say enough good things about, yeah, the read and write speeds is incredible. The overall look of the flash drive I think is kind of cool. Might not be for everybody, and I love that it's dual USB-A and USB-C. We'll talk about the USB-C stuff in the negatives in a second, but I'm using a dock right now for my MacBook Pro to use it as a desktop, and the dock has both USB-C and USB-A ports on the back. So, you know, depending on what you're doing, you know, being able to go back and forth and have that option is awesome. And again, to not have to deal with like a dongle potentially. So, huge thumbs up to the build quality. Huge thumbs up to, yeah, the read and write speeds are reckless. It's snappy. It's exactly what you want it to be. It feels like moving stuff around on my actual Apple desktop, dragging and dropping. I mean, everything is unbelievably quick for pulling up files and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, definitely 2 thumbs up on the read and write speed. Negatives of the MoveSpeed. It's just really heavy. It's, in fact, in my opinion, way too heavy for the USB-C jack. I think this is where there's a little bit of like practicality in Silicon Valley that gets lost on the way. Like they're just obsessed with making everything smaller and yada yada. The problem is when you've got this really heavy, almost 2.5-inch long flash drive trying to plug in with just the little teeny USB-C port, if it's hanging there and doesn't have anything to support it, like I'm almost positive that will break the USB port on my MacBook Pro sooner than later. So the way I use the flash drive is I actually still use a dongle. I had bought a dongle, USB-C to USB-A, and I've just been using that to connect it to the laptop. That works fine because I have other things that I need to connect to the laptop that's USB-A anyway, so I just, you know, plug it on in there, and then that defeats that problem. I think if you're plugging it in the USB-A port, because it's a bigger port and because there's more material that goes into your computer, I think the jack would be fine. But the USB-C, it's just so small of a port and so just fragile and flimsy, you know, again, because Apple has to get rid of every single port that we've used for the last 15 years. You know, we can't keep it, even though the new Windows laptops still keep a USB-A port. You know, no, we can't have that in the Mac world. So in my opinion, yeah, if you're gonna use this on a USB-C port and it's gonna be horizontal and there's weight on it, I think that will break the jack sooner or later because of the weight of the flash drive. So that's really what I meant by it's kind of like the try-hard of flash drives. It's really, really heavy. It is very well made, which I like. It's definitely the kind of thing I think it's gonna last years and years and years as far as the build quality goes, which is excellent. But yeah, I would not plug it into a laptop and leave it just kind of free floating. I think it will break the board. So that's basically it. That's my review of the MoveSpeed flash drive. Highly recommended. I think it's awesome. The read and write speeds are recklessly fast and exactly what you want it to be. Having both ports you know, on it is great for flexibility, which is awesome. I think just be careful using the USB-C port if you're going to be putting, you know, again, if it's like that, that's going to break it, I think, over time because it is very heavy for a flash drive. But well made, very cool. Definitely check them out. Awesome product. Can't go wrong. Here on my channel, I normally do shreddy guitar reviews, not tech things. But hey, you know, I needed a flash drive, and why the heck not? Flash drive is awesome. So, you know, if you want to watch some shreddy guitar stuff, I'll leave some links or whatever. I'll probably be lacing this video with random shreddy clips. So if you dig the guitar playing and think it's cool, you know, my original music is here. You can stream, as well as, like I said, my guitar reviews, and all my music is on Spotify and Apple Music and all that kind of good stuff. So if you like my vibe and you like the music that's kind of in the background and laced throughout it, hit some links down in the description below. You know, check out what I do. I would greatly appreciate it. So thanks again for watching. Rock on. Woo!